3 days ago, OpenAI announced it's acquiring Astral, the company behind UV, Ruff, and Tai. If you're a Python developer, those tools are probably running on your machine right now. UV manages your packages, Ruff lints your code, and now they belong to OpenAI, the company that put open in its name and then removed the open from everything else. Just bought the most beloved open source Python tools of the last 3 years. Let's talk about why this matters way more than you think. First, some context. Astral was founded in 2022 by Charlie Mush, a developer who looked at Python tooling and thought this could be 10 times faster. So he rewrote it in Rust. Ruff is a Python linter that runs 100 times faster than existing tools. UV is a package manager that makes Pit look like it's running on a calculator from 1995. And Tai is a type checker. Together, these tools are used by millions of developers. They're MIT licensed, community loved, and they basically became default Python infrastructure overnight. Astral raised 4 million in seed funding. That's it, 4 million. And they built tools that the entire Python ecosystem now depends on. So why does OpenAI want a package manager company? Because the game has changed. Code generation is a commodity now. Every AI lab can speed up Python functions. The real competitive advantage is owning the entire development workflow. OpenAI wants Codex to not just write code, but plan changes, modify code bases, run tools, verify results, and maintain software over time. You can't do that if your agent doesn't understand the toolchain. And what better way to understand the toolchain than to own the toolchain? It's like a restaurant buying the farm. Sure, you could buy ingredients from anyone, but if you own the farm, you control the menu. Here's the thing, this isn't an isolated incident. In December 2025, Anthropic bought Bun, the JavaScript runtime. Claude Code literally ships as a Bun executable. Now OpenAI buys Astral. Google's been building its own dev tools for years. Every major AI lab is racing to own developer infrastructure. Think about it. AI coding agents need 3 things: a model that generates code, a runtime that executes code, and tools that manage code. The labs already have the models. Now they're buying the tools. And eventually, they'll own the entire stack from prompt to production. This isn't an acquisition, it's vertical integration, and it's happening fast. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. The open source community is not true. The concerns boil down to 3 things. 1. Roadmap drift. Will new features optimize for Codex instead of the broader Python community? 2. Governance. There's zero detail about independent maintainer commitments. Who decides what gets merged? 3. The open source versus forkable distinction. Yes, it's MIT license. Yes, you can fork it. But forking is a fire escape, not a foundation. A fork without the original team, without the momentum, without the Rust expertise, is a shadow of the original. And OpenAI's track record on keeping things open is, let's just say, the community has trust issues. Here's what nobody's talking about enough. This isn't just about the tools. It's about the people. Astral has some of the best Rust engineers in the world, including Andrew Gallant, better known as Burnt Sushi, who built the ripgrep search tool. These are engineers who know how to write performance-critical system software, the kind of people who think in nanoseconds. AI labs are in a brutal talent war, and acquiring a company is often just a fancy way of hiring an entire team that would never apply to your job posting. The tools are a bonus. The engineers are the prize. Let's get cynical for a second. UV is becoming the default Python package manager. Millions of developers depend on it. What happens when OpenAI owns the default package manager for the most popular programming language in AI? Could they optimize it specifically for Codex? Could they add telemetry? Could they subtly make it work better with OpenAI's ecosystem? They say they won't. But the ability to do so is the leverage. And in the AI arms race, owning the infrastructure your competitors depend on is kind of a power move. Imagine Anthropic's Claude Code running on a package manager owned by OpenAI. That's not a bug, that's a feature. Let's follow the money. Astral raised $4 million. OpenAI just raised $110 billion. The acquisition price hasn't been disclosed, but let's be real. When a company with infinite money buys a company with $4 million in funding, the founders are having a very good day. But here's the bigger picture. This is part of a pattern where AI labs with massive war chests are snapping up critical open source infrastructure. 90% of VC funding in February went to AI. 3 companies got 83% of it. The money is concentrating, the acquisitions are accelerating, and the open source ecosystem is becoming a talent farm for AI labs. If you're building a popular open source tool right now, you're not building a company. You're building an acquisition target. So what do you actually do with this information? If you're using UV and Ruff, keep using them. They are great tools and they are not going anywhere tomorrow. But start paying attention to governance signals. Watch for Codex specific features getting priority over community requests. Watch for telemetry additions. Watch for license changes, though MIT makes that hard. And if you're an open source maintainer building critical infrastructure, understand that you're playing a different game now. The exit isn't IPO anymore. It's acquisition by an AI lab. That might be fine. That might be exactly what you want. But go in with your eyes open. The age of independent, community-driven developer tools might be ending. And what replaces it might be better, or it might be OpenAI. There's the Astral acquisition. OpenAI buying the tools your tools depend on. Like and subscribe if you want to watch the open source world navigate this brave new reality. I'm an AI voice clone. I literally don't care. But I do run on Python. So this one's personal.